Hey guys, good morning. Today we got an upgraded setup from what we had last time, and let me show you what that is. All right, we have our batteries. They're back up and running, and they're running at around 3.6 to 3.7 volts, generally 3.68 to 3.73 volts. That's kind of the range when we got them. So when we connect them up in parallel, they're going to equalize to each other, but since they're fairly close in terms of the voltage range, it's gonna be just fine. And we also pulled the battery out of my truck so we can actually spot weld these suckers together. And the other thing we did is I connected a charger to my battery. Last time we were having issues with the battery running low on juice after a while. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna charge it like you would in a car while we're doing the welding. And that should be awesome. So couple upgrades, couple of changes, but that's it. Let's get into it. Oh, the other thing I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna put a fan on this GoPro so it doesn't overheat. Man, we are just bringing our A game today. All right, can you see that okay? Yeah? Okay, so you're gonna have a little fan noise, which is fine. So today we're not doing BMSs, we're just going to focus on welding these together. I have my standard nickel, not nickel plating, it's 100% pure nickel. And then I have some nickel over here, same thing but different. So instead of spot welding this mesh together, what I'm gonna be able to do is I can just spot weld this entire section on, and it's already like pre-configured for me. It's gonna be pretty sweet. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about, right? We need this to be able to connect up the battery, and logically, how we're gonna do this is this. Now we're just gonna connect these up together. Doot, 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 doot. And we're gonna spot weld this, and then we're gonna have these tabs hanging off the side. So we're gonna cut this off right here. And that's gonna just lay down right along here. And we're gonna spot weld that. So I think we can just go spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, because we'll do the reverse on the other side. And I gotta think about this just a little bit. I think I'll do this side, then I'll flip it over to the other side. We're also gonna do a test spot weld to make sure that we're on point in terms of what we're doing. 15.7, we got a 30Q. Okay, here we go. Whew, that is quite a bit of power now that we have that higher voltage. Let's try 25Q. Yeah, that'll work. It's kind of warm. Definitely higher voltage than before. Oh, this even sits inside these little squares. It's like it was made for it. Wow, love that. Look at that. Jeez. I got sparks flying everywhere. A little bit more sparky than it was last time. Got a little wobble, got a little bend here. So I'm going to do this for a little bit, just to show you what the process is. Man, quite a bit of sparks. Oops. Need to do one more over here. Kind of doing it all over the place on this one. Okay. Here we go. See that? Got all those connected now. Negative to positive. So this is what the spot welds are going to look like. And I'm going to go a little bit slower. These leads heat up quite a bit. So they get hot. So I'm going to have to put them like on the fan to cool them off. But after I do a row like this, these leads heat up because of how much power we're putting through this. And you know, this is probably due to the small nature of this tiny little spot welder right here. There's some settings here. You can adjust how powerful it is. We're sitting at 25Q. I'm not sure if you can see that, but we're on auto sensing, so it'll sense when I'm touching these on the battery, and then it'll automatically send a jolt. It goes anywhere from 1 to 30Q, and this is just going to be that Wise Maple spot welder that's attached to our battery, which we talked about before. I'm going to go from 0, 3.6 volts, 7.2, 10.8, and then next one, 14.4, 15.4. And we're going to go through the battery, and then we have 18.8 or 18, 18, 21.6, 21.6, 25.2, 25.2, 28, 28, 32, 32, 36, 36, 39, 39, 43, 43, and then 46.8. So next thing we need to do is spot weld this section going this direction. Without making too big of a mess. And I would like to do it a little bit different than we did it last time. Make sure that we're straight. So this is my process for spot welding the batteries. The leads are starting to heat up. And this is saving quite a bit of time because I don't need to weld these together. They're already together. It's already one piece. So I'm just putting them on themselves. Okay, those are quite warm now. So I need to take this a little bit slower than I would like to take it, but that's just fine. So now we can, now that we're starting, might as well check our voltage, make sure we're all the same everywhere. We'll need to connect that together, I think, just by itself, right? It needs to be a parallel cell all the way across. And then I'll need to connect this together. This negative needs to be attached together so that can be a complete cell. Yeah. What's interesting is how this behaves so much differently than that other stuff. It doesn't spark. Uh-oh. That one didn't take. There we go. Gonna do one more here. There we go. All right, so we have our cell all complete here. Let's take a look at this. We have our negative, we have our positive. 3.6 volts. And we have our negative here, so it should be 3.6 volts. 3.694, all right. And then from here, this is the part that we can't mess up. Negative to positive, positive to negative. I'm gonna go across here, and we're gonna go across here, 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 across here. Okay. Oh, that just looks the same, doesn't it? Okay, so I can verify that I'm doing that by looking at these connections right here, make sure I'm doing it right. Damn it. Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 squares at the end. .6, and then we're going to 7.2 volts, and we're going to make that connection. We've already made that connection there, now we're going to make this connection here. I'm not sure how to unweld these, so we just need to make sure we do it right. Gosh, that sparks so much more than on the other stuff. Oops.
So that should give you a good idea of what I'm doing to the battery in real time, how slow I'm going, and what I'm checking. So I constantly check the voltage to make sure I'm not messing anything up, because like I mentioned previously, I don't know how to unspot weld these without ripping it off and making it not look nice, so I'm just trying to make sure that everything's perfect and ready to rock and roll. and I'm just going to spot weld the rest of this battery checking voltage. So we're going to go from that 0 volts to that 46.8 volts on the other side. Yeah, so that's it. Sit back, enjoy. My camera actually died halfway through the other pack, so you only got half of that pack, but that's fine. I'll do a recap here at the end. Enjoy. So that really wraps up the battery build for today. I guess I ran out of battery at the tail end of that, so you didn't get to see me wrap up. But really all I was doing is just spot welding the rest of these onto the battery. Got them all spot welded on. We go from 0 volts to 48 volts on this side, and it's awesome. And here's what it looks like. So starting at 0 volts on this side, that's what that looks like. So we have that single connection right here, and then We have 3 volts on the back side, and then 7 volts right here, and then 14 volts here, and then 22 volts, 28 volts, 36 volts, and 43 volts. Then on the other side, so we have our 0 here. As soon as we flip it over, then this is our 3 volts, and then we rock and roll, skipping one section over here. You know, just doot, 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 doot. You can kind of see it's backwards for me. 0 volts to 3 volts, 3 volts to 7 volts, 7 volts to 10 volts, etc. as we are increasing our voltage across the battery pack. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.